Like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast. Show link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GTV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop. Until you get your mouth off LGBT. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yeah, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
All right, man. Y'all know what the deal is, man. Press 1 if y'all can hear me, man. We got a mic check. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. We got a mic check. I have some breaking news that has just came out tonight, just right now. I have some breaking news that will absolutely shatter the internet, man. Y'all can hear me? All right, man. Salute to everybody. If y'all ain't subscribed, subscribe, share the video, like the video. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers, man, have just made an explosive filing. That is, man, bro, this thing is crazy. And now it all makes sense. Why? Diddy's lawyer, Anthony Rico, the black lawyer, stepped off of the case, in my opinion. And I'm going to show you guys right now. Y'all know when I come, I'm the best there is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be to do this thing, baby. And I'm going to tell y'all something. When I come with that paperwork, baby, that official paperwork. Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers just dropped tonight. Y'all can see it. February the 23rd, 2025. They just dropped this paperwork, and Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers are now demanding and asking the court to suppress the evidence. Again, his lawyers, and this is an absolute shocker in these allegations that Diddy's lawyers have written up tonight. As according to reports, they're saying in this filing that just came out, memorandum of law in support of motion to suppress evidence obtained through search warrants or in the alternative for a Frank's hearing. Diddy's lawyers are right now asking the court to suppress the evidence that was found in those raids of his home. And you know, baby, I got the paperwork. This is a 30-page write-up, but I'm going to show you how to do this, son, and I'm going to break it down in just a few. And you know, when the paperwork come out, I got the paperwork off the top. Believe that. So, introduction right here on your screen. You guys can read along with me. And this is an absolute shocker, y'all. I could not believe that Diddy's lawyers said all this in this writing. And now it makes sense why Anthony Rico, Diddy's lawyer, suddenly recused himself from this case and walked away from this case. Let me read what Diddy's lawyers have written tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Introduction. The government has a duty of candor when it seeks warrants. The nature of the proceeding mandates secrecy, so the process is not adversarial. Precisely for that reason, investigators have an obligation to present a fair picture of the evidence, including both inculpatory and exculpatory facts. While investigators need not present a magistrate with every bit of evidence they have discovered, they must nonetheless include reasonably even-handed account, and they cannot omit critical exculpatory facts that might undermine a finding of probable cause. As the Second Circuit has instructed, investigators should include evidence if it is, quote unquote, the kind of thing the judge would wish to know, end quote, in determining whether probable cause exists. Next paragraph. The government, in this case, utterly failed to do so. it sought several warrants to search Mr. Combs' residence, his electronics devices, and his person, and it presented a grossly distorted picture of facts. It included only inculpatory facts, and it excluded critical exculpatory evidence that was indisputably in its possession at the time. The government claimed victims were coerced into sex, but it failed to inform the magistrate that blank, 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 because they X'd that out for secrecy or security purposes, so y'all couldn't see that. It also failed to inform the magistrate that it possessed text messages between the alleged victims and Mr. Combs. Blank, blank, blank. Next, the applications were intentionally misleading, which at a minimum requires a Frank's hearing. The warrant themselves were also grossly overboard on a theory that Mr. Combs' entire life was a criminal enterprise. The government sought virtually limitless authority to seize any evidence related to that quote unquote enterprise. All of his digital devices and the information they contained, all information in his iCloud accounts, plus troves of records and items in his houses, also almost none of which was contraband, they say. Where, and I go to the next page where y'all not gonna see this, but I just showing y'all I got the paperwork right here, where Judge Nathan found similar warrants unconstitutional. Here, the government obtained authority to rummage at will among Mr. Combs' private effects. Perhaps most troubling, the government received essentially limitless authority to search Mr. Combs' digital devices, which contained a vast trove of personal information. The Supreme Court and Second Circuit have repeatedly warned that it is especially important that the digital device searches must be limited and particularized. The warrants here were not. The warrants were thus unconstitutional, general warrants, and the evidence obtained through those warrants must be suppressed. And it goes on. Hold on, y'all. So Diddy, let me explain this to y'all what's going on. Diddy's lawyers are trying to say that the government illegally, through Diddy's records and through their search, got information on Diddy, evidence. And they're saying because they're alleging that they obtained this information illegally, they're saying that that evidence should be suppressed and not be able to be presented in a court of law. And it goes on. Factual background. During its investigation, the government executed numerous search warrants. On January the 4th, 2024, it received a warrant to obtain all information in Combs' iCloud accounts. Now, let me stop right here and let y'all know something. Y'all smash the like button as y'all come on in, share this video. You don't want to miss this video. Do y'all know what this is saying? Let me say this to y'all again. To everybody that's listening to this video, do y'all not know what this is saying right now? Think about what's going on, y'all. Anybody that was in Diddy's phones, records, text messages, calls, all these things, because of the Fed's investigation, Diddy's lawyers are saying they basically had a free-for-all and were able to look at everything in Diddy's private files. So that probably means that all of these people that Diddy was having conversations with, that he was talking to, any conversations that he may have never thought would have been put out to the public, or people that he was talking to thought that ever was put out to the public, the feds may have saw this information. The feds may have an understanding of certain things allegedly that could have been said, spoken, or going on. So Diddy's lawyers want all that evidence suppressed and unable to be used in a court of law, because apparently That evidence must have been to a point, you guys. It must have been to a point to where Anthony Rico said, I'm off the case, because he outright quit and walked away and said that under no circumstances could he continue with this case. But let's keep going. It says factual background. During its investigation, the government executed numerous search warrants. On January the 4th, 2024, it received a warrant to obtain all information on Diddy's iCloud accounts. Y'all remember this? There was so many people running around YouTube talking about how they couldn't get into your iCloud, how they can't hack into your iCloud, they can't get any of your information in your iCloud. It's illegal. Well, apparently, Diddy's lawyers are saying that the feds, they got a warrant to get into Diddy's iCloud and all of that information, anybody he could have ever talked to, anything he could have ever said privately that they thought would be in private. Everybody else that was around him have to be shitting their pants, because what have the feds seen? What do the feds know? What do Diddy's lawyers maybe know that the feds know that they never thought would be out here in the general public? Let's keep going. This is what this is all about, in my opinion, from reading this paperwork, and I'm going to keep going. It says, on January the 4th, it received a warrant to obtain all information in Diddy's iCloud accounts. It goes on to say, on March the 22nd, 2024, it received two warrants to search Diddy's residence in Los Angeles, Mapleton Drive, and Miami, Star Island Drive. Both applicants were based on substantially identical affidavits sworn by HSI Special Agent Sean Quinn. It goes on to say, 3 days later, on March the 25th, the government obtained an additional warrant to search Diddy's person, to seize and search two of his cell phones. The warrant sought to obtain evidence related. Now this is the blicky right here. Now I want to put this in perspective to y'all before I read this next line. Y'all need to hear this. Everybody was wondering why Diddy's lawyer Anthony Rico quit and went off the case and said, under no circumstances can I continue with the representation of Diddy. I came in here and I told you guys, in my opinion, I feel like Rico had one strategy, which could have potentially been, bro, they might have too much shit on you, bro. You can't go this route. It's too much. You might need to do this. And the other lawyers may have said, nah, we gonna do this. And so he said, nah, you know what? I'm not lead counsel. Diddy doesn't, I'm outnumbered. I'm out. I don't agree with what y'all doing. I'm out. That's what I think happened. But right now, in this paperwork, read this line. And let me read this line to y'all, because this thing gets sinister right here. It says, on March 22nd, 2024, it received two warrants to search Combs' residence in Los Angeles of Mapleton Drive and Miami of Star Island Drive. Both applications were based on substantially identical affidavits sworn by HSI Special Agent Sean Quinn. 3 days later, y'all, on March the 25th, it said that the government obtained an additional warrant to search Diddy's person and to seize and search two of his cell phones. The warrants sought to obtain, this is what the warrants said. The warrants sought to obtain, to the person who said, how old is this news? It just came out tonight, sucker. Your name is Tina Daughtery? Lady, get the hell out of my channel, sit your ass somewhere and listen to a big dog when you hear him talking. Do you see the date on the top of your screen? You see that little blue filing? It just went down tonight, lady. Learn that I am the man, I am the myth, and I'm the mofo legend around here. You understand that? You better believe that shit. I don't come here with no cap. I was never capping, girl. The hell wrong with you? Better sit your ass down somewhere and listen to a big dog when you hear him talking. Now, back to what I said before I was rudely interrupted. See, I can multitask. I can cook you and read this at the same time. It says 3 days later, on March the 25th, the government obtained an additional warrant to search Combs' person and to seize and search 2 of his cell phones. They say that the warrant sought to obtain evidence related to possible crimes of racketeering, sex trafficking, and obstruction of justice. The list of quote unquote items to be seized at the residence was incredibly broad, spanning pages, including, among other categories, all digital devices found within the residence. The list of information to be obtained from devices was similarly broad, but as detailed below, the warrant applications presented a grossly distorted picture of reality. The government had in its possession, for example, a variety of evidence, y'all, including, and they blacked that part out. They blacked that part out. But right after that part is blacked out, this is what the next word says. It says, but as detailed below, the warrant applications presented a grossly distorted picture of reality. The government had in its possession, for example, a variety of evidence, including blank, 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 suggesting that victim 1, who is Cassie, which we all know, participation in the alleged freak-offs was voluntary and consensual, not coerced as the government suggested in its applications. The government claims blank, blank, blank was based primarily on statements from producer 1, an utterly unreliable witness whose claims were contradicted by other evidence that the government failed to mention, is what Diddy's team is saying. And the government's obstruction allegations were based largely on text and statements taken out of context, Diddy's lawyer said. A critical part of the context being that blank, 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 the affiant also failed, right, to mention that nearly every eyewitness he interviewed had blank, 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 giving them a financial motive to fabricate or embellish. Stop right there. Diddy's lawyers are admitting in this writing tonight that the feds spoke with eyewitnesses. Now, Diddy's lawyers are saying that they think that these eyewitnesses were people who had financial motives to lie on Diddy. Financial motives to lie on Diddy. But Diddy's lawyers are saying that the feds have eyewitnesses. They said it right here in this writing. Right here in this write-up I'm reading right now that just dropped tonight. This is big, y'all. They said they had eyewitnesses, man. And it says the affiant also failed to mention that nearly every eyewitness, so they're saying they had numerous eyewitnesses that the feds have collected in this Diddy case. It also goes on to say the probable cause statements were intentionally misleading, but it worked. The government got its warrants. So check this out, y'all. Diddy's lawyers have painted the whole picture for y'all. The reason why they got the search warrant to go into Diddy's homes is because the feds got eyewitness testimony. Snitches gave up Diddy. And that's how they got the warrant, from eyewitness testimony. It's right here in Diddy's write-up, right here. They're telling y'all what happened, and they want all this evidence suppressed because they don't want it to be able to be used against Diddy in a court of law. It says it right here. It says the probable cause statements were intentionally misleading, but it worked. The government got its warrants, leaked damaging information, and then executed its military-style raids at Combs' residence. Through this duplicity, the government obtained evidence, including multiple electronic devices with an enormous amount of information about Diddy's entire life, and an enormous, unfair tactical advantage. Diddy's lawyers are saying that whatever the feds have collected in their evidence is so strong. Diddy's lawyers are saying that it's given the feds an unbelievable advantage over Diddy in court. This is what his lawyers are saying right here in the write-up tonight. I could not believe this is unbelievable that I'm reading this right here to y'all. And it goes on, y'all. It says, through this duplicity, the government obtained evidence, including multiple electronic devices, with an enormous amount of information about his entire life. They're not even saying just one, they're saying that the feds got info on Diddy's whole life. And an enormous, unfair tactical advantage. It continued to press its advantage, obtaining an indictment and multiple additional warrants, which were incredibly broad. Argument. 1. The government's warrant applications contain intentionally or recklessly deceptive statements and omissions. A. Warrant applications may not omit critical exculpatory evidence. Under the Fourth Amendment, a warrant may only issue upon a showing of probable cause. But as then Judge Barrett wrote, a warrant clause is not merely a probable cause guarantee. Rather, it is a guarantee that a warrant will not issue unless a neutral and disinterested magistrate independently decides that probable cause exists. But it goes on, y'all. A magistrate can only perform in that function if the government provides an accurate and complete statement of the evidence demonstrating probable cause. If a statement of probable cause contains material false or misleading statements or omissions, then the warrant is invalid and any evidence obtained pursuant to the warrant must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers, this is what's going on. The evidence against Diddy is so strong. One of Diddy's lawyers just resigned, Anthony Rico, the black lawyer. These other lawyers are saying that this evidence must be suppressed and unable to be used in court because they said that the government has such an unfair advantage on all of the information they have on Diddy's life. They want this evidence suppressed. Also, it says, to suppress evidence obtained pursuant to a warrant, a defendant must show that 1, that the warrant application contained intentionally or recklessly misleading statements or omissions, and 2, that the falsehoods or omissions were material and necessary to the warrant's issuance. It says to obtain a Franks hearing, a defendant need only make a substantial preliminary showing as to each prong, right? It goes on to say, reckless or intent may be inferred where the omitted information was clearly critical to the probable cause determination. It goes on to say, as noted, a warrant application can be false, either though affirmative false statements or misleading omissions, right? Even through affirmative false statements or misleading omissions. An application must contain a reasonably complete statement of the evidence, including exculpatory evidence that would be critical to the evaluation of probable cause. Though an officer need not volunteer every fact that arguably cuts against the existence of probable cause, the officer may not omit circumstances that are critical to the evaluation of probable cause. It goes on to say, right? While an application need not include every potential ev- evocative detail that would interest a novelist or gossip, right? A novelist or gossip, an investigator cannot make a unilateral decisions about the materiality of information or merely inform the magistrate or judge of inculpatory evidence. Simply put, an affidavit seeking a warrant cannot withhold important exculpatory evidence from the magistrate. The duty to include critical exculpatory evidence includes a duty to reveal information that undermines the credibility of a confidential informant or other witnesses. When the government relies on witnesses' statements rather than an investigator's own observation, their credibility is plainly relevant, even critical to the probable cause determination. The failure to provide unknown information that goes directly to the credibility of a witness or informant violates an investigator's duty to disclose. The government made false statements and omitted critical exculpatory evidence in its warrant applications in this case. This omitted evidence was in the government's possession at the time it sought the warrants. The omissions were intentional or, at the very least, reckless. B. The government's warrant application hid critical exculpatory evidence regarding victim one's consent and financial motives. Speaking of Cassie, the core allegation and the warrant applications, and indeed the government's entire case, is that Diddy forced Cassie to participate in freak-offs. In its March warrant applications to search the residence, it stated blank, 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 and blank. This statement was based on the investigator's interview with victim one, who we all pretty much think is Cassie, which took place 5 years after the events. But the government unaccountably failed to inform the magistrate blank, 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 and blank, both of which severely undermined its account. When it sought the warrants to search Mr. Combs' residence, the government had already obtained one device from victim one, who we think is Cassie, that contained blank, 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 and blank. It goes on. It blanks out a whole paragraph of information, y'all. A whole paragraph it blanks out. It says, unbelievably, the government did not blank in the warrant applications or even inform the magistrate blank. Faced with the claim of coerced and forced sex, the blank, 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 blank is the sort of thing that any fact finder would wish to know. This was no accidental omission. Number two, by the time it obtained the warrants to search Mr. Combs' residence, the government had already obtained blank, 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 and blank. Once again, these blanks contradict the government's claims that the freak-offs were coerced. And then it has a whole nother paragraph that's blacked out. Then it has an entire page that's blacked out. It has another paragraph on the next page blacked out. And it says the government alleged blank, 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 but it failed to mention blank, 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 blank. The government alleged that blank, 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 but it failed to mention that blank, blank, blank. More generally, even as their relationship deteriorated and the two managed a breakup, blank, 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 and a whole paragraph blanked out. And then it says, they are important evidence. They show the context of the relationship. And they also blank, 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 blank. They are the kind of thing that any magistrate judge would wish to know when reviewing a warrant application in a sex trafficking case. Yet the warrant applications contain not even a hint of them. They didn't even inform the magistrate judge that this evidence existed. They simply stated that blank, blank, blank. This was intentionally misleading. Blank, blank, blank contradicted victim one, who we all think is Cassie's, later accounts and gave the investigators obvious reasons to doubt the veracity of the allegations. The investigator was thus legally required to disclose them. Then it has a blank, blank, blank. It says contradict the applications in other ways too. The application said blank and a whole two, three lines of blank. And it says again, blank, tell a different story. Then a whole paragraph is blanked out with four different examples. Then it says the warrants applications also claimed blank. It says once again, the government hid evidence to the contrary. For example, and it blanks out a whole paragraph, right? And then at the bottom it says blank is a male escort service. As the motion to dismiss count 3 details, the service has been operating in the open for over a decade. The investigators had blank. This shit is deep, y'all. Then a whole nother sentence is blanked out, and it says, as the government has since conceded in disclosure letters, and it has a whole sentence blanked out, and it says, moreover, the government hid evidence that Combs at times discouraged blank from using so many drugs. Then it says, a whole paragraph is blanked out. It says, finally, the warrant applications contain no mention of victim one, who we think is Cassie, financial motive to exaggerate and falsify, as the government knew. Then it blanked out a whole paragraph. And then it says, thus provided an unusually strong motive to fabricate years after the underlying event. And then it blanks a whole sentence out. And it says, suggests that years after her relationship, she changed her story in a way that could maximize potential damage to Combs and thus give him maximum incentive to agree to a large payment. This is exactly the sort of evidence that goes directly to the credibility of the witness, whose story provided the core of the government's applications. As the courts around the country have held evidence that undermines the credibility of a key witness must be revealed because the magistrate judge must be given an opportunity to assess totality of the circumstances. Here, rather than giving the reviewing magistrate a fair summary, the government hid exculpatory evidence to bolster its case. The warrant applications were calculated to mislead, omitting clearly critical evidence. And it also goes on to say, see, the government's warrant applications hid critical exculpatory evidence regarding the credibility of other witnesses. It goes on to say we should have over 2,000 likes. Let's get to it. It says the government also sought to corroborate victim one, who we think is Cassie's, allegations and make related allegations with statements from other witnesses and victims. Again, the government hid evidence undermining these witnesses' credibility and presented misleading and selective accounts. We are not detailing here, with omission, a few ancillary facts. This is a case of systematic deception. One, sex worker number one. The government relied on information from sex worker number one. Didn't I tell y'all that the government had a witness who said that he was a sex worker for Sean Diddy Combs and that he was the one that was in that room while that video? That's why everybody kept saying, yo, that video don't mean shit. That video meant everything, nigga. That video where Diddy and Cassie was in the hotel meant everything because the feds are saying that during that video, when Cassie ran out the room, she was running away from a freak off that she did not want to participate in, which made that a federal crime. And it also turned that beating into kidnapping, right? Holding her against her will, which that falls under the racketeering aspect. That's why that video was so important. Everybody didn't know that at the beginning, that was a freak off. But the feds allegedly had sex worker number one, who was actually alleged to be in the room at that time, who testified in this situation. And Diddy's lawyers are writing this about sex worker number one. It says sex worker number one, the government relied on information from sex worker number one, and it blanks out a whole paragraph. It says, but sex worker number one has also given the government exculpatory information, none of which was included in warrant applications. And it's December the 29th, 2024 discovery letter. For example, the government revealed that blank. And then it says another example, and it blanks it all out. It says these statements from a key participant in the freak-offs undermine the allegations that, and then it blanks out everything. And at the bottom it says the government has refused to provide the defense with the names. Let me repeat this now. And I told y'all, this shit about to get effing follicle, nigga. Let me read what it say right here. It says that the government, this is Diddy's lawyers, have refused to provide Diddy's defense team with the names of the anonymized individuals named in the warrants. It says that sex worker number one appears to be the same person disclosed in the letter. Let me repeat this again. Diddy's lawyers don't even have the names of these people that are in this warrant. They about to hit this nigga with a supersonic boom surprise. And now, Diddy's lawyers, the only way they're going to have a fight is if they can make some kind of argument to say that this was illegally obtained to try to suppress all that evidence. That's the only way. Because they're saying that the evidence is so overwhelming and the government has such a big advantage from the evidence that they're basically saying it's not even possible for them to put up a fair defense, an equal defense, based off the evidence that the government has. Then it says blank. And it says, and they corroborate, and it blanks out a whole nother line. It said, it is unclear when the government received this information. The government has only stated, and it blanks out two more lines. And it says something any investigator would have asked. It is also unclear what other exculpatory statements sex worker one made about blank, 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 blank. That is precisely why a Frank's hearing is required, to learn more about what the government knew and when. Moreover, even if the government was not yet aware of blank, 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 it could have been aware had it asked. It also goes on to say, right? It also goes on to say, right? Given the government's loose relationship with the truth throughout its warrant applications, the most obvious interference is that the government was already aware of sex worker number one exculpatory statements, but simply failed to include them in its applications. It did exactly what the Second Circuit Court forbids, merely informing the magistrate judge or inculpatory evidence. Number two, assistant number one. The warrant applications relied on information about assistant number one, including, these are all snitches. All of these people they're naming, assistant one, sex worker one, these are all the people who they've already told y'all. They have eye fucking witnesses, bro. Excuse my language. They got eyewitnesses. They're saying that the feds went and got the warrant to go in Diddy's home because the feds got eyewitnesses that gave testimony that they were able to use to obtain warrants. So they're saying that Diddy had rats and people who snitched on him that was all around him. And they're fuming because they don't know the names. And they're saying that all of this evidence should be suppressed in the courts. But check this out. It says Assistant 1. The warrant applications relied on information about Assistant 1, including blank, blank, blank. It says the application said Assistant 1 blank. It also says, as with Victim 1, who we think is Cassie. It says the application failed to disclose that blank, blank, blank. It says, but the applications were particularly misleading in their recounting of supposed obstruction of justice. They stated that Combs had obstructed justice by, and it blanks out a whole paragraph. But the government cherry picked a couple of statements out of context to imply blank, 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 blank. But the complete thread demonstrates the opposite. And they blank out a whole paragraph. And it goes on to say this was not a harassing or threatening exchange. It was rather a blank, 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 blank. Does not remotely make out probable cause for an act of obstruction. But the government plucked a few quotes out of context and thus presented the magistrate with a completely distorted picture of what happened. That distortion could not have been accidental. It was a deliberate choice. It goes on to say, producer number one. Now, who do y'all think this producer is? Is this producer Lil Rod? Who is this producer? Because they got multiple witnesses here. So it says producer number one. Some of the most salacious allegations recounted in the warrant application came from producer number one. I believe producer number one is Lil Rod. Guess who I believe producer number one is? The nigga who's suing Diddy and got all them pictures and all that shit. I think that's him. Now it goes on to say, check this out, y'all. This shit get crazy, y'all. So it said that the producer number one, whoever that may be, I know who I think it is, but whoever that may be, it says producer number one, who the government now says it will not even call to testify at the trial. So they're saying that producer number one, who may be Lil Rod, might not even, the government saying they might not even call him to testify. But it says that the investigator indicated that he had interviewed producer number one, and producer number one had relayed stories about his time working for Sean Combs. It says producer number one claimed, among other things, that blank, 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 and blank. It says, but the most serious and specific allegations from producer one was his claim that blank, 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 blank. The application state, and it's all blanked out. This shit's serious, bro. When they blank all that stuff out, bro, it's some serious stuff behind all them blackouts. When they blacking this stuff out, it says the accusations were never credible. They were uncorroborated. Blank, 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 and the government had boatloads of contrary evidence, including blank, 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 blank. It said the government eventually dropped these allegations in later warrants, but their lack of credibility was manifest from the outset, and the government once again failed to disclose producer one's financial incentive to fabricate and embellish. Producer number one, and it blanks out the entire paragraph. And then it goes on to blank out more. And it says the government has advised us it will not call producer number one as a witness at Diddy's trial. Presumably, that is because his stories are fantasized, I guess they said. And he lacks any credibility, is what they're saying. But his lack of credibility was equally apparent in March 2024, in part based on blank, 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 blank. It says, at a minimum, the warrant applications should have disclosed blank, 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 blank. And it says, namely, his motive to fabricate and tell the government a story that matched the stories blank, 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 blank. It says, once again, however, the government hid this from the magistrate. The investigator simply relayed producer one's claims without qualification as if he were a credible witness. And guess what, y'all? It goes on to victim number two. It says victim number two. We don't know who victim number two is, but I think victim number two or number three is the girl they said that they hung over that balcony. But it blanks out that whole paragraph on victim number two. Then it says victim number three. It says the affidavits allege, based on the interviews with victim number three, that Combs blank, 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 blank. The relevance of these allegations is less clear. The claims about victim 3 appear under the header blank, 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 blank. In any event, the warrant applications once again include none of the information the government must have known that called into question her credibility regarding allegations. And it blanks out a whole paragraph, y'all. And it says, once again, none of this information necessary to assess her credibility was included in the warrants application. Now, guess what, y'all? They have another victim. It's a fourth victim now that Diddy's lawyers are naming. Victim number 4. It's a fourth victim. I only thought it was 3 victims. It's a fourth victim they name it. Victim number 4. The warrant applications included allegations that victim number 4, blank, 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 they went on to state, blank, 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 blank. It says the government made no effort to corroborate victim number 4's claims. If it had conducted a reasonably competent investigation, it would have obtained evidence contradicting her account, including, and they blanked out the whole paragraph. And then it goes on to say the applications failed to note that, and it blanks out a whole paragraph. Then it has another goddamn witness, and it says designer number 1. Who the hell is this designer? It said the warrant applications also include allegations from designer number 1. The government, and they blank out the whole sentence. And then it says the government also claimed a representative of Combs had engaged in obstruction when, and it blanks out a whole other sentence. And then it says the applications failed to note the context of that, and it blanks out a whole paragraph. Then it says in some, 3 critical witnesses on which the government relied were all, and it blanks out the whole sentence. It says not only did they have general financial motive to fabricate, and it blanks out a whole sentence. It says that information would have, to put it mildly, raised doubts about their credibility. But the government said nothing about, and it blanked it all out, the sentence. It says, once again, it intentionally hid evidence that would have undermined their credibility. It goes on to say, the misrepresentations and misleading omissions in the warrants are frequent and patterned. The affiant omitted, for example, all information about the witnesses, it blanks it out, and financial motives to fabricate. These omissions were related and exculpatory, indicating recklessness. It says this is a case where the cumulative effect of all the omissions was to eliminate nearly every indicator detracting from the witness's reliability. This is a case where the affiant failed to provide all potentially adverse information that might have undermined a probable cause finding, right? It says the law requires the government to include all critical exculpatory information in a warrant application. Here, the government included none. Sex trafficking, like CHILD, you know what. It is so repulsive of a crime that those entrusted to root, bro, they're talking about, bro, this is crazy, bro. I can't say the word, y'all, but I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to spell the first word, CHILD, and the second word is, it rhymes with, let me see, it rhymes with corn, right? Now, let me say that right now. Right here, I'm saying this is in Diddy's lawyers is writing this right here in the writing. It rhymes with that, right? Right? So you do the math. Now let me read the rest of this sentence. It said, it is so repulsive of a crime that those entrusted to root it out may, in their zeal, be tempted to bend or even break the rules. Let me stop right here, y'all. Do y'all know what I think? Before I keep going, do y'all know what I think? This is what I think right here. With that word I just said to y'all, remember they said that they were able to check all of Diddy's devices. Here's the question I want to ask. I'm not going to say that. Y'all think about what I just said, the words. What did they find or potentially find in Diddy's files that he was looking at? Diddy's lawyers write it right here in the paperwork. I can't put this word on the screen. His lawyers put it right here in the paperwork. They said sex trafficking, like CHILD, and it rhymes with, you know what, the second word, is so repulsive of a crime that those entrusted to root it out in their zeal be tempted to bend or even break the rules. When government investigators cheat to obtain warrants, they endanger the freedom of us all. In cases like this, it is essential that the courts enforce the requirements of the Fourth Amendment, both to protect the individual defendant's rights and also to deter this sort of government misconduct. This raises my antennas on 1,000, y'all, on why that black lawyer Anthony Rico walked away. To the person, Rodney Salzberg says, ticket, everything you're reading actually works in Diddy's favor. No, Janet Jackass, it doesn't. It's just being written by his lawyers, fool. So it sounds like it's in his favor. If it was in his favor, his ass would not be behind bars. And his lawyers would not be trying to have the so-called evidence that these chump-ass Negroes been running around here saying doesn't exist, suppressed. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig that? Can you dig that? Rodney Salisbury? Can you dig that? Huh? Can you do it? Over here looking like a dusty ass. Who you look like, man? I don't know who the hell you look like, nigga. Like a dusty ass Lamont Sanford. Man, get your ass out of here, man. Hold on, man. Let me get this dude out of here, man. And you smiling too much, dog. Straight up, bro. Let me go on now. You always got to cook somebody like that. It goes on to say, the misstatements and omissions were material. It says, there is no question, based on the above evidence, that the warrant applications contained falsehoods and misleading omissions. The remaining question, the second prong of Frank's, is whether those falsehoods were material. This analysis examines what a hypothetical, truthful warrant application would have stated and whether that information would have supported probable cause. In the case of misstatements, a reviewing court must set aside the misstatements and determine whether the untainted portions are sufficient for probable cause. In the case of misleading omissions, the court must insert the omitted truths and determine whether they undermine probable cause. Here, truthful applications would have stated that victim ones, and it blanks it all out. It says, but also that the relationship was long, complicated, and often loving. They would have stated that, and it blanks the whole thing out. And then it says, such a truthful presentation would not have provided probable cause for a sex trafficking charge or any other federal offense. Still less would it have provided a basis to search everything and anything in Combs' two residence a decade later. Truthful applications would have stated that Combs blank, blank, blank. They would have stated that producer one, blank, blank, blank. They would have also stated that blank, 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 blank. Such a truthful presentation would not have provided probable cause for sex trafficking or racketeering. Truthful applications would have stated that after blank, 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 they would have noted, however, that nearly all these warrants also or had also blank, 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 blank. They would have noted that some of Combs' representatives, and it blanked it all out, such a truthful presentation would not have provided probable cause for the obstruction of justice. The government here unfortunately demonstrated a damn the torpedoes full speed ahead mentality. In its zeal to prosecute a famous target, it rushed ahead and violated the law. It submitted an egregiously false and misleading summary of the evidence, thus denying the neutral and disinterested magistrate the opportunity to independently determine whether probable cause existed based on fair and truthful summary of the evidence. It presented only inculpatory evidence, and it hid all exculpatory evidence. These falsehoods taken in the egregious. It goes on where material to the probable cause determination. Truthful and complete applications would not have provided probable cause to search both of Combs' homes, residence, and all of his devices. Right? Man, this thing is crazy, bro. They saying, I'm gonna give y'all a summary of the rest of this, man. Man, bro. Man, bro. Oh shit, this is crazy. It says the warrants were unconstitutionally bound abroad, excuse me. It says the warrant themselves were also unconstitutionally broad. The charges here reflect an extraordinary legal theory that Mr. Combs himself is an enterprise and that his businesses, his household, his personal relationship, his sex life were all a part of a criminal conspiracy. It says that broad theory is alleged in the indictment and reflected in the warrants. The government essentially took the position that everything about his life is possible evidence of a crime. In a series of warrants, it thus sought authority to search and seize anything in A, his iCloud account, B, his residence, C, his cellular phones, D, his hotel room. The only limitation was the evidence that had to be related to the subject offenses. But because the theory was that his entire life was a racketeering enterprise, that was no limitation at all. This case implicates the central concern underlying the Fourth Amendment, the concern about grieving police officers' unbridled discretion to rummage at will among a person's private life, a person's private effects. That is exactly what the warrants unlawfully allowed. The Fourth Amendment forbids general warrants. Man, bro. Man, bro. This is unbelievable, man. Man, bro. Crazy, dog. What? Hold on, man. What? So this thing is saying, man, bro, they are really trying to attack them getting this evidence, man. They're really trying to attack this, man. Man, bro. They're harping on this iCloud stuff, y'all. They got everything off Diddy's iCloud, y'all. Everything off his phones, they got it. Imagine if you don't know you're gonna get your shit searched, and then the feds just come in and take everything from you and search all your shit. You don't even know it's gonna get searched. That's what happened with Diddy. So guess who gets caught up in that? Anybody that's in your phone, because they're gonna use that as probable cause to investigate any and everything, right? Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this, y'all. Diddy's lawyers wrote this. The government sought warrants in this case that gave it unfettered ability to search Mr. Combs' residences, his digital devices, and his iCloud accounts. The government's list of items to be seized from his house were pages long, and it is stunning in its breadth. It says the government claimed the right to seize, among other things, 1, evidence of Diddy's location or anything reflecting the location of any co-conspirator or witness, which, according to the government, seems to mean anyone who ever worked for Combs or went to a party. Do y'all know what this shit means? Let me read that again. These dudes are saying that the government had a list of items to seize from Diddy. And it said it was pages long, right? And it said that the government claimed the right to seize, among other things, listen to this now, y'all, evidence of Diddy's location or anything reflecting the location of any co-conspirator or witness, which, according to the government, seems to mean that anyone who ever worked for Combs or went to a party. You know what that means? If you work for Diddy and you was at them Diddy parties, they investigated your ass a part of this. Let me say that again. If you went to a Diddy party or you were employed by Diddy, the feds on your ass too. It says utility bills, mail, correspondent, address books. They got all this shit, is what Diddy's lawyers are saying. All calendars or scheduling information, including Diddy, the travel records. All financial records, including, that's why these niggas talk all this capping ass shit on YouTube. Oh, the feds ain't got nothing. Nigga, they got everything. Nigga, what the hell you think? That's why they want to suppress this evidence. Let me keep going. All financial records, including bank statements and credit card statements, plus cash, property deeds or titles, or anything related to property ownership, plus evidence relating to online financial accounts. Any sex toys, sexually suggestive clothing, whatever that means, plus any medical supplies. Why would they want medical supplies? You remember you heard about the rumors and the allegations that was thrown out there that people was giving IVs? It says any sex toys. This is all the things that the feds went and got that they had on their list. Sexually suggestive clothing, plus any medical supplies or other materials possibly related to sex. Plus, now listen to this, y'all. Lord Jesus, man, this is, oh my God, this is nasty. Oh my God. It says plus any bodily fluids or other material that may contain DNA evidence. Bro, they was pulling up the fluids, y'all. Oh my God, man. Oh man, that's a nasty. God. Oh my God. It says any communication or record of communication with any former sexual partner or employee. Bro, these motherfuckers went in deep. Excuse my language, y'all. Bro, they investigated any chick Diddy had sex with. It's right here in the paperwork, nigga. Let me repeat this again. Any communication or record of communication with any former sex partner or employee of the Combs business, plus any communication related to the charged offenses, which was, as noted, defined incredibly broadly, with any possible victim, co-conspirators, or witnesses. Corporate records, including corporate organizational and ownership documents and employment records. Any digital device that may contain evidence, including phones, computers, iPads, and cameras. Any digital device that may contain evidence, including phones, it says the descriptions were often written with catch-all clauses, with regular use of phrases like such as, including without limitation, and including but not limited to. The list above is thus not even a remotely complete list of what the warrant sought. It merely sets forth some of the high-level categories targeted by the government. They're saying that ain't even the only thing the government was looking for. That's just some of the shit the government was looking for. It said the government's warrants to search Combs' iCloud accounts and his cell phones were similarly broad. As to what information it sought, the government may just as well have said everything. The iCloud warrant sought the ability to search everything stored in Diddy's accounts. Example number one. Check this out, y'all. This is crazy. Y'all smash a like button. We should have 3,000 likes. It says the search warrant, the cell phone warrants, both the initial March warrants and the subsequent September warrant, sought all communications, photos, documents, calendars, location data, travel records, financial records, call records, and so on. Anything related to the subject offenses. But because the subject offenses were defined as including all of Combs' businesses, his household, and his relationships with his girlfriends over the last 20 years, it is hard to think of anything that would have not been related to the subjected offenses. Boy, they went to all this nigga exes and everything. This is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. Lord have mercy, man. Man, bro. It goes on to say that the warrant broadly sought any and all records or evidence that might be related to the offense, including, did I tell y'all they was going to get this type of shit? Financial records, bills, messages, travel records, photographs, computers, cell phones, and so on. Indeed, the broad list of items to be seized very much resembles the list in this case, as they're saying. But check this out. Check this out, y'all. This crazy, bro, I can't believe that they saying all of this shit, man. This is crazy, bro. Crazy, man. And it goes on. What the hell? Man, it says that the warrants, man, bro. It says the warrants here authorize unbounded search of Mr. Combs' business and personal affairs. The warrants here allow the very sort of general, exploratory, rummaging in a person's belongings that the Fourth Amendment forbids. Nor can the government evade the Fourth Amendment limits simply by stating that Mr. Combs himself, a sort of criminal racketeering enterprise, and therefore all evidence of his business and personal life was relevant evidence of a crime. If such a rhetorical trick were allowed, the Fourth Amendment would lose all meaning. Man, this is unbelievable. It goes on, y'all. It goes on, man. It goes on, man. It says that basically it charged Mr. Combs' whole life as a racketeering experience. And then it obtained warrants to search his whole life. The iCloud warrant, the warrant to search his hose. Nah, it says hoses. Is that hose? It says a warrant to search his hose. Nah, hoses. Or houses. They might have meant to put houses. They spelled it wrong. It says the cell phone warrants, the Park Hyatt warrant were individually and collectively exactly the sort of general warrants that the Fourth Amendment sought to prohibit. Man, this is crazy, bro. It says, for foregoing reasons, the conclusion, for foregoing reasons, the court should suppress all evidence, and all fruits obtained from the warrants of Combs' residence and his person, his iCloud account, and his devices. These warrants were unconstitutionally broad. In the alternative, and at a minimum, this court should order a Franks hearing to hear additional evidence and determine whether the warrants were improperly obtained through deception. Man, I'm telling y'all this right now, bro. They got a lot of shit on Diddy, bro. That nigga ain't never gonna see the light of day ever again, bro. All the niggas are saying he innocent, bro. Bro, this is the last, bro. Now I see why Anthony Rico left. Bro, listen. You remember how they said to him, you can't win. Listen, bro. Diddy's lawyers saying they got so much evidence. They said, bro, they want all the evidence, all of it suppressed. From all of the searches. All of the searches, they want all of it suppressed. She said, can I post what I'm reading, please? Shannon, there you have it right there. Just dropped tonight. Just dropped tonight, Shannon. Shannon, you know I got a paperwork party over here. You know I got that paperwork. I don't come in here if I ain't got no paperwork, lady. You feel me, baby? You feel me? Right there, look at the top of your screen right there in that blue. February 23rd, 2025. Yeah, I got that paperwork. You know I got that work. You dig? Yeah, I don't bring no fiction. You know, I bring all facts. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you old capping ass niggas on YouTube. Hey, bro, listen, let me say this to y'all, man. You see that right there? That's Tony Busby right there, certification, nigga. Do you know what that is, nigga? See, I'm gonna cook these niggas real quick, man. I'm gonna cook these niggas real quick, shorty. Cause see, all you gotta do is do your own research. I tell y'all this all the time. When you come on YouTube, it's one thing you have to do. You study to show thyself approved. Right? Let me repeat myself again. Study to show thyself approved. Right? 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 Now, I want y'all to understand this, right? So this guy I'm gonna put on the screen right here. I'll put a guy on the screen for y'all. This guy I'm gonna put on the screen is the man who signed this certificate right here in front of y'all. Right? Now, this certificate calls out a lot of the cap. Because see, a lot of people are confused on the situation. See what I'm saying? Even I was confused at first, but I'm not now. It all makes perfect sense. It all makes perfect sense now. See that guy right there? Right there in the middle of your screen. See him? See that guy? You see? You can go to the official. You can go to the official State of New York Supreme Court page. You go right to their home page, click on senior staff, and then click on Robert Mayberger. Now, Robert Mayberger is the clerk of the court, and he has been that for a long, long time. Now, why is Robert Mayberger important? Because he is the guy that Tony Busby went to show these people. And as you can see it right here, Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of the State of New York, 3rd Judicial Department. I, Robert D. Mayberger, right? This guy you see right here, y'all can go right to the website, look it up. Clerk of the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of the State of New York, 3rd Judicial Department, do hereby certify that Anthony Glenn Busby was duly licensed and admitted to practice as an attorney and counselor at law in all, not some, not a few, not a couple, not a tiny bit, all. I repeat that word again. All. He was duly licensed and admitted to practice as an attorney and counselor at law in all the courts of this state on January the 17th, 2019, 6 years ago. Has duly taken and subscribed the oath of office prescribed by the law, has been enrolled in the roll of attorneys and counselors at law on file in this office, is duly registered with the Office of Court Administration, and according to the records of this court, is currently in not bad, not horrible, not worse, but good standing as an attorney and counselor at law. And what you must all know is that Tony Busby has not had those cases in the Southern District of New York thrown out. No. In fact, let me educate you guys on what's going on. First of all, Tony Busby was advised as an out-of-state lawyer to make a move, which in Latin terms is a move that an out-of-state lawyer can practice in a different state, right? So what did Tony Busby do? He filed and paid the filing fee, right? Pro hac vice. Now, what you do is, all you do is, and I'm going to put this on the screen for y'all, right? Because many lawyers use this. Pro hac vice, right? Now, pro hac vice is other words for this occasion only. So in special circumstances, you can get permission to represent clients in certain situations. Because see, look, why haven't Tony Busby's cases in New York been dropped? Answer that question. Why haven't his cases been thrown out of court? If Tony Busby was in bad standing and Tony Busby was not licensed, why haven't those cases been thrown out of court immediately? Why did the judge tell Tony, hey, Tony, look, I see the situation that's going on right now. Go file for the pro hac vice. He was recommended to do that. I was never capping. I was never capping. Read the last line. Right? See, they tried to deny a petition. Right? Right? But think about this, y'all. Think about this, man. Right? Right? I want y'all to think about this. Right? Right? There's some confusion going on here. Right? But read that last 2-3 lines. It says, therefore, the petition is denied in the event that Mr. Busby moves for pro hac vice or regular admission in this court in the future. That doesn't say that Tony Busby, you can't come back ever. No. Pro hack vice. Out-of-state lawyers. You have an issue, you can file for pro hack vice. Paperwork. 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 What's the first word that said? Filing error. Right? Deficient docket entry. First motion for Anthony Busby to appear. Pro hack vice filing fee is only $200. Right? I call it that because that's American terms, but it's a Latin word. If I say it in Latino, pro hac vice. If I say it in English, pro hac vice. A lot of y'all saying, "Oh, ticket man, look at the word. You gotta know how to pronounce the word. It's not vice." I know that, Alexis, do you not know who I am? Mi amor, tú no sabes quién yo soy. Yo puedo hablar en español contigo todo ese video. Tú y yo podemos hablar en español. Eso no hay problema por mí. Tú sabes. Yo hablo así porque esa gente son americanos. Tú sabes. Eso es lo que pasa, mi amor. I can give it to you in Telemundo if you want, baby. You can't, hey, Alexis, you can't play this game with me. You say I'm the best. Salute you. Hey, muchas gracias, mi amor. Tú sabes. Muchas gracias. Pero tú sabes, yo entiendo todo eso. Eso es la verdad, mi amor. I can talk with them all. I can get in the room and talk with the biggest of them. You ain't put me in no room with nobody. I ain't gonna understand what they say. All you gotta do is give me 1 month. You put me anywhere, give me 1 month. I'm gonna know what they saying. Straight like that. That's when your mind work right. You can hold full conversations with other people. See, a lot of the other people, they can't even hold no full conversation with nobody else. You drop them off somewhere, they done. You understand what I'm saying? I just told y'all that this was a Latin term, but y'all know that the English language are pronounced differently from the Latin language. But I'm talking to Americans and people who speak English, so I'm saying it the English way, right? That's what I'm saying, right? So as y'all watch this right here, what's going on, this is going to be a doozy right here. Because the clerk of courts says to Tony Busby, certified and solidified, right? In all the courts. He didn't say some of them, he said all of them. And you have to ask yourself, well, damn, if Tony Busby is being sanctioned, if he's being punished, if he's in bad standing, why all those lawsuits still standing up? Why haven't all those other lawsuits been thrown out by the courts in New York? Is this some type of game that's being played against Tony Busby? Because you don't hear this about Tony Busby in any of the other states he's filed lawsuits. Tony Busby has not just filed lawsuits in New York. Tony Busby has filed lawsuits in California. He's filed lawsuits in other places. They ain't effing with him over there. See? Like I said before, man, you guys, again, man. Remember I told y'all? I said, yo, I'm going to talk about Tony Busby in a couple of days. Everybody kept, oh, Ticket, why you ain't going to cook Busby? Because these people be the first ones to open their mouth and remove all doubt. Sometimes you got to be a little patient when you know what the hell is going on. And I'm going to tell you something. It's fitting to get uglier. Because what the paperwork right here from Diddy's people are saying, and I want y'all to think about what I'm telling y'all right now, everybody that's listening to this video tonight, because this shit is real. I'm telling y'all this right now. They put some key words in this paperwork, which lets me think. They're saying they went into Diddy's entire life. You know what that means, y'all? Imagine this, and I want y'all to think about this. If somebody went through your entire phone, all of your iCloud, all of your records, everything, your laptop, your computer, everything you ever had, Oh, and they went through it. All of your pictures, videos. Man, some of y'all ladies, boy. Hey, some of y'all ladies right now that's on you, that's listening right now. Man, some of y'all fellas, man, if they expose what's in y'all video, oh my God. Lord have mercy. Oh my, the freaks come out at night. What? Freaks come out at night? Oh yes. You know what time it is. Y'all ain't no fun with me. Don't tell me to stop. You know what it is. Yeah, ain't gonna sit up here talking about something. But that was for my man, though, Ticket. That was for my man. That was for my man. That was for my man. You know what I'm saying? I already know. See, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So y'all listen. So you already know they saying Diddy a freaky nigga. Man, what the hell you think they seen in that nigga from? Then anything he could have been talking about, people he could have been talking to, texting over the years. Think about this, y'all. They pulling up locations. They say they investigated this nigga girlfriends from 20 years ago. Think about that. Think about that, y'all. And think about this. You ain't heard none of them people talking. What's the first thing Jay-Z did when he got included in that lawsuit? He said, I don't know, Diddy. I ain't got nothing to do with that nigga. Think about it now. All right, let's just keep it 100. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Once they get that warrant, they can go on your phone like they looking for one thing, and they may see something else, and that may put them on somebody else. And you never thought you'd get caught up like that. Thank y'all. Salute to everybody that tapped in tonight. Paperwork is online. Paperwork is online. And so Diddy's lawyers going for the gusto here. They want all the evidence suppressed. They're saying that it was illegally obtained. So they wanted it suppressed. And they want a hearing so that a judge can determine whether or not the evidence against Diddy was illegally obtained, because they're saying that they got an unfair advantage with all that evidence. And they also stated that they haven't even been given the names of the other co-conspirators and people that's, involved in that case. That's what they're claiming. They're claiming they haven't even been given those names. And y'all wonder why Anthony Rico said under no circumstances can I stay on this man's defense. I was thinking, now after reading this, man, and listen, you don't have to listen to me. Y'all know how they do. Law and Crime is going to break this down in my next day or two. And when they upload it, go watch them and see if they say some of the same thing I told you. Because they put the words they put in there. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, man, you never know what they seen in Diddy phone, man. That they could pop out at the trial. You never seen what they put in his phone. You know what I mean? Or you never know what they seen in his phone. Like I said, it always be like that. You could be talking to somebody else, talking about something else that you never want nobody to know, and now the Fed's seen it. All your private, like I said, ladies, y'all got stuff in y'all phone that, man, if anybody seen that, they think you a holy church going girl. You the biggest goddamn freak in the neighborhood. It just ain't nobody seen the inside of your phone. Same thing with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you, they said they was checking this man's locations, everything. And you know how I know that's true? Because the other Young Dolph case, how they used that dude's phones. Remember how they brought the dude in and they showed how they used his cell phone and track all his movements on the towers. Whenever you got your cell phone is like a tracker of you. It tracks everywhere you go. So if you got your cell phone, you going here to there, they can track all your movements through those towers. Period. All your movements through those towers. That's the type of technology they got out here. And you got a big case like this, you damn right they're going to pop out. They can track all of your movements. Bro, I'm gonna tell you how big bad this technology is. Don't y'all see shit that's coming up in y'all's phone? Like, they have everything catered to you. So, like, let me give you an example. If you're into exercising, you get a lot of commercials and stuff that's pop up on your phone or pop up on your that's about exercising, right? If you into eating, you have a lot of commercials coming up about food and stuff like that. All of these different things is your phone is like a program of you. Think about that now. It's like a program of you. So everything that's in your phone is information builds up. Information builds up. So most people, they cannot stay away from their phones for more than 2 days. They'll go crazy if they don't have a phone for more than 2 days. But be honest with you, not having a phone is the most discipline a person can ever have in this new era. Because your phone is collecting all your data. Every scandalous, crazy thing you say, it can never be, even though you think it's erased, it's already in the system. So that's why I'm trying to tell y'all this type of stuff, man. If you go somewhere, you go here to there, bro, let me tell y'all something. I knew how this shit was when I seen, and I'm gonna say it again, when I seen the phone trackers, y'all. When you got a shit where they have a thing where you lost your phone, your battery could be dead, and that shit still tell you where your phone located at. That lets you know they can track you at all times. I'm thinking, how the hell my battery dead, but this shit say it can still track with this phone at. Think about that. Your battery's dead, but it still say it can still track with your iPhone at. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. So when they got all this, man, iCloud information and all of his, man, I'm trying to tell y'all this right now, man. They know what music this nigga listening to. They know everything. They know what websites he on, who he talking to, who he FaceTiming, how long they FaceTiming. Trying to tell y'all this. And to the person who said they take a battery out the phone, can't take no battery out no iPhone. You ever notice that? Telling you that. Telling you that. So y'all need to look at this thing, man. This thing don't got crazy, man. But apparently, you know, there's evidence right here. They want that thing suppressed. You know what I'm saying? Now, and here's the thing. I'm gonna say this before I leave. I do want Diddy to have a fair trial, as fair as he can have, because I don't want nobody to be able to say, "Hey, man," you know. So I hope they do get a fair jury pool who will judge off the evidence. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I couldn't listen. I'll be honest with you, man. I ain't judging that nigga off no evidence. I seen nigga beat that girl ass. I already think he a scumbag. So that's why I had to take myself out of that. Because I ain't got no respect for the nigga. See what I'm saying? So that's just me being real to y'all. You know? You know, I just can't respect that type of shit, man. You know what I mean? I'm be honest with you, bro. Not the way he did that girl, man. Ain't no way in hell, man. You know what I'm saying? In that video, man, she was running away, bro. Listen, you a multi-millionaire, nigga. I don't get in the mud like that, nigga. You run away, nigga, let her go, nigga. Real talk. Nigga, you Diddy, nigga. Let me tell you something. I ain't chasing no woman from Diddy. I'll tell you the truth. Shit, nigga. Man, listen, I tell you right now. Off the strength of the muscle, nigga, I ain't chasing no chick. I don't care who you is. You want to step, you can step. I ain't finna argue with you or nothing. Nope. Matter of fact, I'm finna record you leaving. Just so everybody know you left in good shape. But when you start doing that type of stuff, man, and putting your hand on chicks and stuff like that, come on, man. These niggas on cap, my nigga. That's when you trick yourself out of bag. Period. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know what y'all think, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe, man. And in the way he beat that girl, y'all know it wasn't the first time. Everybody know it wasn't the first time, man. Niggas acting like that was the first time that type of shit ever happened. Man, y'all niggas think that shit is cool, bro? You know? Diddy already told y'all niggas in his rhymes, I'm not guilty, but I'm filthy, nigga. Come on. So y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Salute everybody in the chat room. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is, man. Don't. All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do. Stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.